Hello, wonderful people, you soldiers, you heroes, you fabulous souls. So, today I'm talking about another conversation I had with the emissaries about the shift and about what's going to be like going forward. Are we out of the muddy waters? Is it going to get better? For God's sake, is it going to get better? I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So when I approached the emissaries in this particular conversation, I said, how are you doing? Everything's wonderful. They said, everything's going really good. I said, can you have noticed the shift? And said, of course we can. The shift's happening. And I said, so look, is everything going to be better now? Is everything going to, be good from now on? And they said, no, because the dark forces are still present. They haven't gone away. They're still here. Okay, so they've still got work to do. When they've gone, they'll have finished the work. But until they've gone, they've still got work to do. But they said that they are, their words, dispersed, disappointed, and uncontrolled. Okay, so we can see that. We can see that. They're just not what they used to be. They're all getting everything's going a bit Pete-tong, a bit tits up, a bit messy. It's getting a bit messy down there, isn't it? So they said that the dark forces are still present, but there's a new phase, and I think I was talking about this with my daughter, but there's a new phase of that we're shifting into. Part of the shift is where, rather than fearing them, we hold them in disdain, we mock them, we laugh at them. And what the emissaries were saying was that for them, that is an extremely powerful weapon. It does them a lot of damage when we mock them, when we hold them in disdain, when we smirk at what they say. That's the power that they have. They only have fear. Somebody mentioned in one of the comments, that's all that they have. If there's no fear, there's nothing that can hold sway over us. And I was saying to them, well, okay, yes, lots of us are starting to laugh. We're able to breathe a sigh of relief, really, and kind of start laughing at this kind of thing, this madness that's going on. But not everybody. Lots and lots of people are extremely angry. So that's why I asked the emissaries. I said, do they use that anger? Can the baddies feed off that anger? And they said, oh yes, they've been doing that since the beginning. That's what they do. They feed off anger. But they said the anger that they feed off is the uncontrolled, wild anger without direction. That's the anger. That's why they're always clashing groups together and getting them to be angry together. And then they feed off that. And not only that, but also angry crowds are very, very easy to manipulate. Yeah, angry people, because they've got no focus whatsoever. But the emissary said something really interesting. They said, but the anger that the awakened people have is what we call righteous anger. And righteous anger, they can't use that at all. Why? Because righteous anger is very directed. It's very focused. It isn't dispersed like anger generally. When you see angry crowds and just smashing stuff up willy-nilly. That's not the anger that the awakened people have. It's an anger focused. That's why we're seeing, as I mentioned last week, these people getting slapped all over the shan't and shouted at and everything. And pelted with eggs. Yeah? So that's this righteous anger. I mean, you've got to have balls, to shout in the street at a very key leader of the baddies. You've got to have balls, because then the police jump all over you. You're going to be jumped on by the police. But they're still doing it. Why? Because they've got the same anger as the story of Jesus going into the temple and throwing out the moneylenders and turning the tables over. He didn't go in just hitting random people. You know, just anybody. You come here, slap, bitch, slap, get out. No, he went for the people he was angry at. And that's exactly where these angry people who have woken up are. They're focused on the people that have caused them this pain. And that, for the baddies, is very dangerous. It's not something that they can use. They can't. It goes against them. So I said to them, what's it like going forward? And what are we going to see going forward? And remember, the emissaries don't get into details. They're not going to say, well, you know, they're in the election, blah, blah. They never ever say stuff like that. What they said, obviously, the very big picture. Yeah, I like big picture. So they said that this next year is going to be a year of big revelation. What they said was this, and I listen to the words and I write them down because I think, well, it's not something I would have said, or I don't, you know, I've never thought of it that way. And they said, all must be revealed so that the energies can align. And it's something about the revealing of what's been happening helps to change the energy and align it to the energy that we need to move forward. So it's going to be really tough, right? So, because I know we get excited, don't we? Oh, all revealed, oh my. And they said it's going to be really tough. And I said, well, is it going to be tough for everybody? They said yes, but for different reasons. So it's going to be tough for the people who are waking up to all of this. These people who are in this process of, you know, I realised, you know, I've just found out that the Twin Towers was an inside job. Yeah? And they go, just found that out. Therefore, I'm going to start looking at other stuff and what? You get the download Telegram on the phone and that's it. They're like that for about 6 months. The awakening process on speed, yeah, on amphetamine. So they're going to be very, 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 very upset, very wounded, very hurt, very, very sad. The people who find out all about this, I mean, you know, that's the vast majority, isn't it? Very upset, very sad, very wounded. So the emissaries were saying that they're going to have a different kind of difficulty, a different kind of pain. But for us who are awake, we're going to have another kind of pain. Our pain is going to be because of our empathy. Because what we are going to see is an ocean of people in a terrible, terrible place. Terrible place. People we love, people we know, people we don't know. And we're going to see them in a horrible place. And so that's going to be very painful for us. The emissaries did say that even though we're awake, so what in the revelation, we're going to get more of a confirmation. It's going to be a process of confirmation of what we know. But they said even then, there are going to be things that will still surprise you and hurt you and shock you. Good. I mean, what could it be? What could it be? Who knows? Let's see. But our greatest pain is going to be through empathy. So if you're an empath, start working now on empathic protection. Start working now on building up your little wall of light, you know, of your light wall of protection, because it's going to get a bit rough, you know, when you see all of these people lamenting, deeply lamenting what's happened and what they've done. Yeah. So that's what they said to me. That was very interesting, wasn't it? This is the sense that I get. It's the sense that Robert Martinez, who does the astrology, he was saying that next year, because of the alignments, there's something happening in March, and I've heard somebody else talking about March. But it's not happening for bad. It's happening for good, but it might be tough. Yeah, bad things happen for good. But next year is the year of literally of revelation. That's what he was saying too, of like everything being seen for what it is. That's why it's going to be a tough year. It's going to be a toughie. But we're there, and so our job, your job, my job, is to get ourselves as strong as possible. And I don't just mean that on a spiritual level, right? I mean that on all levels: spiritual, emotional, physical, mental. Get strong. Start doing exercise. Start eating the best foods that you possibly can. Start feeding great stuff into your mind. Educate yourself. You know, do things that are going to put you in a better place. Now's the time. Get strong. Because we've been through a tough time, but I just feel that it's going to be a different tough time. A time in which we need all of our resources, all of our strength, all of our force, so that we can go and help. Yeah, because there's going to be a whole lot of helping going on, and a whole lot of helping needed as well. Yeah. So there you are. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you all next week. I love you all. Bye bye.